You, Ashley. And just to be sure, can you check if there's anybody else in? Oh, there we have one person. I just want
Yes,
to
I
make sure
just
nobody
found
was in
him.
the waiting. Okay, awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Here's our agenda for today. We'll start with introductions, and then we're going to go into grants management overview, talk about the integration and benefits. And then I have some demos to show you that will hit various areas in PeopleSoft grants. And then I'm going to hand it over to Kaiser Permanente, who will talk about how they're using grants today and the benefits that they're receiving. And then we want to talk about the topic of what's new. We also have some slides on what's coming. Probably won't spend a ton of time on that since Joe is going to be covering that tomorrow. But yeah, so my name is Jessica Mann from Spear MC. I head up our PeopleSoft Grants Management practice. And Yulia, thank you so much for joining us today. Could you please give a brief background of your experience and role at Kaiser Permanente?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. So my name is Yulia Ivanova, and I've been with Kaiser Permanente for a little over 8 years now. And I work as a senior business analyst for grants and project costing, and recently have joined a product team for the same modules. But my grants experience has started in 2002. And so with Cal State Los Angeles, and continued with healthcare providers. And so now I'm at Kaiser, and it's been more than 20 years working with grants with Oracle product.
Thanks. Okay, so the session today, a fresh look at PeopleSoft grants. Hoping to give you an overview of the benefits of PeopleSoft grants, including the ability to have a single source of truth, be able to capture information and report on information at the detailed summary level, the ability to create complex calculations such as burdening, fringe, as well as overhead, create automated revenue recognition, and have the flexibility and controls to meet your sponsor requirements. I normally like to do a poll and kind of get a sense of where everybody's at in the session. I can see some current existing grants customers as well as some customers that are just in process of starting to implement grants. So I'm going to kind of just assume that we have everybody kind of in a different phase in the life cycle. So being already live on grants, just starting grants implementation, or just getting more information about if it's a good fit for you. So I'm hoping with this session, we will be able to have everybody learn something new, whether it's seeing grants for your first time, or if you're live already, seeing some of the kind of new functionality that has recently been released. Okay, so a bit about Kaiser Permanente.
Hello, that's me again. So as you probably know, guys, we have multiple markets in Kaiser Permanente. So and so on the map, you can see where we are located, hospitals, doctors' offices, and so on. Can we move on to the next slide, please?
Oh, sorry. Did you want to talk to this one, or should I go?
No, let's just skip that one for the sake of, we have so much content, you guys, today. So we just wanted to jump to the most important things. So just a little bit about Kaiser Research. We have almost 350,000 I'm sorry, 350 million in research funding, and that includes external funding as well as internal. We have over 2,000 active projects conducting research, and quite a few researchers who are helping us to do so. These are the facts from 2022. We will have the most updated ones in the near future. Next. So just the highlights, we have 250,000 users, active users in OneLink. OneLink is the internal name of the Oracle product that we use. And we have about 900,000 monthly jobs running. Next slide, please. Just a little bit about the modules we use. Of course, we have a full grant suite, grants, customer contracts, project costing, AR billing. We also have procure to pay, acquire to retire, treasury, general ledger, naturally, financial data warehouse, and so on. These slides will be available to you guys if you want to look back at the information.
They are uploaded already.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Julia.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a bit about SpearMC before we dive into the presentation and demos. So we are a PeopleSoft partner, an Oracle partner, and we specialize in PeopleSoft and Oracle technologies. SOX 2 certified, also very proud to be recognized by Gartner. So SpearMC is the sole featured PeopleSoft vendor in the latest Gartner Market Guide for Oracle Professional Services. This slide talks about our involvement with Oracle. So for each of these various teams, Apps Unlimited, the product strategy group, we are meeting with them on a regular basis, partnering on various initiatives. So whether that be providing customer demos, having discovery sessions, or providing input on how our customers are using the system and what features that they're really adopting. Definitely very, very involved with the full Oracle team related to PeopleSoft, and we're very proud about that. So in terms of SpearMC's product and services, many of you know us from our PeopleSoft training. That definitely was the start of SpearMC 20 years ago now. But we do basically anything PeopleSoft. We say yes, we will do it. We have the traditional consulting services across all of the pillars, managed services. We can help with lift and shift OCI. Some of the emerging technologies that we're proud about, the chatbots, open search dashboards, we can help with your roadmap. And then we also have some of our own proprietary products over here on the bottom right. I do want to call out, since this is a grant session, that we do have a specific solution for labor cost distribution and effort reporting. If you'd like more information, happy to do a demo on that solution. PeopleSoft specific solution. You can access our upcoming training sessions either by scanning this QR code, or it's very easy to find on our website, constantly being updated. We do both public trainings as well as private live instructor-led sessions. We also have we are the sole reseller for Oracle Guided Learning for PeopleSoft, and we can also, we have our own subscription-based training model, our AALP, which we had a demo on earlier today. So all about training, obviously, so let us know if you have any questions there. So with that, I'm going to jump into the presentation, and I wanted to first start, especially for those folks that are brand new to grants, with an overview of PeopleSoft Grants Management. So PeopleSoft Grants was designed to support the key business processes that are associated with to the administration of sponsored research or sponsored programs. So we have the ability with grants to enter and track proposals, track their submission status. There's like a little mini module within grants for protocol management for those that are tracking IACUC and IRB approvals. We have the ability to track negotiations with our sponsors. And then once we receive the award, we have the ability to track our award funding, manage our project and our budget. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner, facilities and administration, F&A, that is PeopleSoft's term for overhead or indirect overhead. And then through the integration with the other modules within PeopleSoft, we have the ability to create invoices for our sponsors. There's actually letter of credit specific functionality to allow you to aggregate your grant invoices together for a drawdown. And then once you have your invoices over in accounts receivable, we have the ability to apply payments, track what is owed, and how and age it, manage your receivables, and then of course various ways to perform financial reporting, project analysis, and then lastly, sort of at the tail end of the business process, the ability to have controls around slowly shutting down the project. And there are some delivered workflows specific to grants. I'll cover on one of those a little bit later. All right, so here's an example of what the integration could look like. The boxes in blue are the required modules. You are required to license all of these modules here due to the heavy integration nature of grants. These are required for the grant suite. And then you may have all of these other modules, payables, inventory, maybe expenses that are integrating with grants. There's also some delivered integration from HR and payroll. And then ultimately, we have the ability to take all of that grant-related information and send it over to Insights to create dashboards and visualizations. So the top box here, grants, gives us the specific ability to create our proposals and store our award information, our demographic information. It also, with the grants module, you get the ability to utilize the grant-specific F&A, indirect overhead processing, which is very, very robust. And then if you look here in the projects box, this is the project costing module, where all of the detailed transactions are stored for our grant. We'll see a little bit of an example of that later. Over here on the right-hand side is the contracts module or customer contracts. This box is responsible for managing the billing and revenue recognition for your grant. And so when that billing is run, it integrates over into billing to create your invoice. And that invoice is then sent to accounts receivable. And then, of course, any accounting entries that are created either from grants or contracts or projects or billing and AR, they're all then, of course, integrated to the GL as delivered. All that integration is delivered and everything is kept in sync, including when that invoice information is finalized, it reports back to contracts and projects so it knows how much has been billed and how much is left. Commitment control here, KK, that is an optional feature, but allows you to track your remaining spending authority for your grant and optionally have hard stops. So lots of flexibility on how you want to set that up, but that's what that KK abbreviation is. All right, so in terms of the demo, what I wanted to do is share different pieces of the grant solution. So I'm going to start essentially kind of on the beginning of the business process at creating a proposal, and we'll go through generating an award. And I wanted to point out that these recordings are in image 49, People Tools 8.60.08. So it does have the redwood style sheet and may look a little bit different than your environment. So I'm going to be touching on the various parts of the grant solution, but did want to point out, always happy if you'd like to have a full length end-to-end demo, do them all the time, and always happy if you'd like to schedule a private demo for your organization. Just let me know. All right, so let's start with creating a proposal and award. Okay, here we go. The first thing that you'll notice as we log in is the grants fluid homepage. So fluid meaning that having the ability to render on any device, homepage meaning a collection of tiles. I'm excited to hear about some of the upcoming changes for homepages to create additional groups of tiles. Obviously, in today's world, we can still we can have multiple homepages. I clicked there on the grants navigation tile, and I'll be clicking there a lot in these demos. That brings us here to the most frequently used pages for grants. This is how it is as delivered. Obviously, you can easily tailor that to however whatever pages your organizations access the most. As delivered, it does open up into the grants portal. The portal is grants specific functionality. It has its own security, allows you to obtain grant information at a very high level and then drill to the details. I'm not going to spend too much time on that today because I want to talk about the upcoming grants insight that we're pretty excited about, the grants dashboard. So we're going to go into creating a proposal, and there's multiple different ways that you can go about starting a new proposal. It can be a brand new ad. It can be creating it from an activity guide, creating it from a template, creating it from a form. So maybe you have the concept of like a pre-proposal. You could create through Forms and Approval Builder, have a form that optionally, if it goes through the approvals, once it's approved, it can save directly to the proposal tables. We can load through Excel to CI. We do that a lot with customers, especially in conversions. We can interface from a third-party system or add new using an Oracle Guided Learning Business Process Guide. In this example, to save time, I'm going to go ahead and do a copy proposal. So I'm bringing up an existing proposal. I can change the start date if I need to. I could change my budget periods. So I'm going to change the start date and keep the updates on the start and end date to my budget periods. And I have a new proposal generated based on the prior one with number 213. As I go into the proposal page, there is a key minimum required fields that need to be entered in order to save a proposal that we'll see with the asterisks. So we have our demographic information, title, PI, which will be your employees that are marked eligible for PI, customers, CFDA, you'll notice is configurable. Oh, I meant to pause it. I've already gone into an area called additional information where you can track key reporting data elements such as flow through or pass through. So if you have a federal sponsor that gives an award to a state or maybe another university, and then that is then awarded to you, here is where we can track that ultimate primary sponsor or flow-through sponsor. So very helpful for reporting purposes. And there's a few other delivered additional information opportunities as well. The start and end dates for our budget periods, because I copied this proposal already, are there for me. If it was a brand new, you can use the build periods functionality to specify the number of periods you need. Click build to build it out for you. So lots of flexibility on how to define your budget periods. You will have at least one proposal project, but you can add more to break down your budget. And then before I go into the project budget, I want to show you this key piece of the proposal setup, which has actually two sections, the top contracts related and the bottom F&A. So in the contracts related section, we have the ability to select a product. Our product is what will determine the defaults when we generate the award of how we want to bill and recognize revenue for our grant. So those are defined by each organization. You can have as many as incurred and fixed amount type products as you wished. So these are just defaults to reduce the number of setup steps. You can still change it once you get over to post-award. And then the bottom section, we have our indirect overhead settings for our proposal. So the F&A base will determine the type of transactions that will create indirect overhead. Once again, this is defined by your organization. So whatever typical types of bases you have, total direct costs, modified total direct costs, you will define them here. And this will ultimately carry forward over to the award. And then you have an associated indirect overhead rate that allows the budget to automatically calculate your indirect overhead based on your configuration. So now I'm coming into the proposal budget and how you want to build out your budget. Have lots of flexibility. It can be very, very granular. It can be very, very high level summary. Here's an example of kind of the middle ground of rolling up to the expense grouping level. All of these budget items you define. And so let's see some examples. Building it from a granular level here, I can insert a bunch of different lines detailing out what are the exact supplies, or at the person level, we can select the individuals on our proposal and bring in optionally their salary information, their effort percent, and have it calculate out a salary by individual if you'd like to get that granular, or we can keep it more high level. Notice there the system, based on the configuration, knows which one of these rows they should calculate indirect overhead for, so it's automatically doing that math for you. Okay, just a couple other things on the proposal. I wanted to highlight that, so obviously you can associate resources to your proposal. You can optionally add keywords for reporting purposes. You can also add attachments to a proposal. All right, so those are the key fields I wanted to show you on the proposal. And now I'm going to take that proposal information and generate award. And I want to show you how you can do this in somewhat of a new feature on the Work Center. So PUM Image 29 introduced this Manage Proposals, where you can mark multiple proposals as submitted at once and then generate the award right here within the Work Center. So I'm selecting my proposal and updating the status as submitted. That essentially will lock down the proposal for changes. And then let's say now we've gone through negotiations with our sponsor, we've received the award. I can very quickly convert that proposal over to award by clicking Generate Award and clicking the Process button. It's going to copy a ton of information from the proposal and create what's called an award profile in the system. So then I'm going to jump over and show you what that looks like. Going back into my grants navigation collection, into the award profile, we'll bring in that 213. And notice it looks actually quite similar to the proposal, right? Bringing in all of that, I call it demographic information, title, who is our sponsor. We optionally can categorize proposals and awards by purpose. We see the associated projects. It brought over my funding that I had on my budget, and I still have the opportunity to make changes. It's not distributed yet. On the award profile, we have additional fields available, such as terms and conditions. So you can track those conditions that you've agreed upon for this specific award. These are all configurable by organization. Okay, if we had entered a keyword on the proposal, that would also come over to the award. There is a notepad functionality. It automatically logs it, an entry when you generate the award, and you can continue to add more rows and enter free form text notes as the award goes on. And then I like to highlight the milestone functionality on the award profile that gives you the ability to track the deliverables and due dates related to your award. And these are all, once again, configurable, and you define how which milestones you want to track. It could be report related, it could be closeout related. You define the types and the codes and which milestones you want to have automatically defaulted for new awards. So in this case, we have 3 defaulting in. And if I click over back to my home page, there is a delivered tile for tracking upcoming milestones due. You see there's 4 milestones becoming due or already due. And if I update my new award with the due dates, okay, we'll enter in some in the near future, some way in the future. Click save. If I go back to my home page and refresh, you'll see my 4 milestones are now updated to 6. So I can visually see logging in what is becoming due, and I can drill into the Fluid Pivot Grid, visually see that information and continue to filter down as needed to narrow down the data I want to look at. And there is even some related action here where I can jump to update a milestone, for example, jump it into the award profile. Okay, I think I made it to the end of that demo. Okay, so next I wanted to highlight some examples of that robust integration with the other modules, including project costing. So we're going to look at the transaction list, which is really a direct view into the project resource table, which is our main transaction table for grants. And okay, so going back into my navigation collection, I can go into review award transactions. Starting in image 39, they've enhanced the transaction list to have additional fields to search by. So you see up here on the top, they've added analysis type, transaction ID from, expense sheet ID, voucher ID, journal ID, description, system source. So really a nice way to filter down your transactions. Here's a project that just started, so not too many transactions here. I just have 17 rows. But just looking at these transactions, I can get a sense of what's happening on my grant. These BUD rows I've had are budget entries, budget that has been posted to my project. I see BLD rows, which are rows that have been billed. I can also see I have some amounts that have not, that are ready to be billed. So our BIL rows, SFA rows are our indirect overhead rows, specific for grants management that are calculated based on our basis and percentage. So nice way as you're doing testing to directly look at transactions into project resource. And I can drill into to get more further detail about a transaction. So this ACT actual row, as I drill in, not only do I see the associated full chart field string, I can see its billing status. I can drill further and get more detailed information, such as system source. I can see it came in from AP, and other key fields related to that transaction, such as voucher ID, supplier ID. So very, very powerful table. Has 162 fields on it, so makes it quite robust and helpful for great purposes for grants. All right, so we've seen some of the demographic information set up for grants, the proposal and award. Now we've looked at some transactional information. I want to continue on in the business process here and go into contracts. Which again controls the billing and revenue recognition for a grant. And I wanted to show you a new cool feature called Manage Contracts. So this feature came out in image 36, and it is a feature that allows you to have a comprehensive view of contracts for the contracts you're responsible for, as well as related actions that you can do in the page, such as billing and revenue recognition. So I'm going to move from the grants homepage here over into customer contracts homepage, where I can click this new Manage Contracts tile. I can search for an existing contract, or I can pick from my contracts, my favorite list of contracts. I can get information about my contract. I see it's active. It has just one contract line, no open amendments. And as I come into the fixed amount section, I see I have overdue billing. I got to do something about that. And not surprisingly, billing events not processed. And then over to the right here, this is really cool. You can see recent activity for your contract, recent invoices. So I just have 2 recent invoices at the moment. I can see recent revenue. Here I can see recent vouchers, and I can even get more information on fields that aren't even available in Proj Resource, like the invoice number associated to this voucher ID. So that's pretty cool. So in terms of those related actions, I can come into the billing events and change the status to mark something as ready if I know it's ready. So let's say event 3, I know is ready to go. Here from this page, I can update the status. And before I kick off the billing, I just wanted to show you what the billing plan looks like for this particular contract. So I can click into the billing plan and show you how I expect this billing to run. I can see, and if you were in our session earlier today, we talked about streamlined billing. This billing plan is set up to, once billing runs, to push it all the way to finalization, to billing, to AR. So it is set up for that streamlined billing. It also has a XML publisher invoice form that allows us to, if we have a bill to contact set up as wanting to receive an email for their invoices, it can automatically email that invoices attachment. It could also automatically attach the PDF to the bill header. So some of the features that we get when we use that invoice form of BI Publisher. So I've seen this is set, ready to go. And from this page, with basically a click of a button, I can initiate billing for that event that I just updated. When I go into the process monitor, I can see that it initiated that contracts to billing process. And because this is set up for streamlined billing, it will automatically kick off the rest of the billing jobs, which you see under that top row, CABIDIR1. So it's now going through processing the billing interface, going through the edits, printing the form, and then here is our XML first process, which, as I mentioned before, can automatically email an invoice and attach it to the bill header. Okay, so once that is done, and if I see that it goes to success here, let's see that it's finished. Now, when I go back to that page, notice in the upper right-hand corner, my recent invoices will update from 2 to 3, the invoice that I just processed. So pretty cool, I think. All right, I'm going to keep going. In terms of that last example was fixed amount. I want to show you an example related to grants that is cost reimbursable. So starting in image 49, they introduced a insight related to grants, which is the cost reimbursable award dashboard, giving you the ability to analyze the award and contract comparison of cost, budget, billing by award, PI, sponsor, project, contract type, award periods, accounting year, and accounting period. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. So this is access to the cost reimbursable awards tile. And as I come into this page, it will automatically filter down to the BU currency code on my user preferences, me, the user logged in, the award PI of my user, and awards ending 10 years in the future. We have the option, so here's award summary to see our totals. We can maximize to make it a little bit bigger if you'd like. As we scroll over the legend, it's highlighting the related section. I can even hide the legend if I want to. Okay, let me go back and see the other visualizations. So we have the analysis of total cost by award. That would be the top 10 awards comparing costs with F&A to our budget. Okay, and we have the ability to inspect and download into Excel if we need to. And lots of other visualizations, billing by sponsor, billing by project, cost by PI. This data is, the transactional data is pulling off a project resource and then incorporating the demographic information both from grants and contracts. Okay. Actuals by contract type. And it got cut off in this video. I shortened it, but if you were to click into one of these aspects, like for example, sponsor, all of the rest of the visualizations would be narrowed down, for example, by sponsor. So pretty neat. I like this cost and billing by year and period. Like I said, pulling in from Raj Resource as you would expect for that particular month. And we can see the grid at the bottom. Okay, I think that's the end of that one. I'm going to keep going because I know Yulia has quite a bit to share too. So lastly, well, not lastly, but sort of at the end of this business process here, we've looked at contracts and billing. That information would go into accounts receivable. I did want to show you the collections workbench over at AR. This has been around for a bit, but like many things, it's been improved, including in image 10, they've added the ability to view an invoice and email a copy of an invoice. So we'll see that ability to view an invoice in this demo. Okay, let me kick it off. So I can get here, right here from the grants navigation collection again, go into my receivables workbench, put in my customer here. I can see what is the overall balance here in the middle for my customer, what is past due. I can see recent payments for this customer. If I click over into items, I can see my individual open items as a default. I can also change the setting to look at other statuses like closed. If I drill into an individual item, I can get more information about that item and its activity, including viewing the invoice attachments, which I think is super helpful to be able to access that right in over an AR. Okay. Then if we had any conversations logged for our items, we can see that there. We can see our aging buckets, how old our receivables are. And then within the workbench, we also get contract information and project and activity information. Just one other example I wanted to show. I'm going to go over to a different commercial customer here. So within accounts receivable, you have the ability also to generate statements, and we can see them here within the workbench, as well as generating dunning letters. Okay, and we have had some interest from our grants customers in doing some of this a little bit more advanced functionality in accounts receivable. So hopefully you found that helpful. All right. So now I'm going to turn it over to Yulia to talk about how Kaiser is utilizing grants today and the benefits.
Thank you, Jessica. Surely there was a lot of information given. So just want to remind you guys, you can ask questions via chat. It's available. And if we have time, we can address the questions. If not, also our emails are available in the presentation. You can always reach out to me or Jessica anytime, and we'll make sure to answer your questions. Now back to Kaiser Permanente. So we are at Oracle 9.2. POM's image, actually our latest image is 49. We just went live in September. And the tools, we also upgraded tools earlier this year. It's 8.60.10. Okay. So we have buy to pay and record to report and acquire to retire modules. But most importantly, we have the full grant suite. And we went live in 2014. I joined shortly after in 2016. The type of funding we do have is federal, state, and local governments, foundation, other private, also industry and internal. And recently, in the last 2 years, we have added a couple of international sponsors. The type of billing revenue recognition we do is, standard as incurred, fixed fee, prepaid, but we also have something that is custom, is called ISB, Interregional Automated Reimbursement. And what it does is basically it allows to reimburse if one region or market is a sub on another market's grant, then instead of issuing checks to each other, they can just process billing via ISB mechanism, which allows a movement of a cost from sub-awardee to the primary region in this case. We also have ICB, Internal Sponsor Automated Reimbursement, which allows also, this one bypasses billing altogether, and it does a journal moving expenses from the region to the internal sponsor of Kaiser. So that's the way we handle that. And of course, we have internal discretionary funds, infrastructure, and so on. Next slide, please. All right, so these are the key benefits that we found that Oracle Grants Management System brings to us. Of course, integrated solution that allows the federal, non-federal grants management lifecycle, internal and external reporting, security, and SOX compliance. So basically, we have start to finish all the way to close out managed in the systematically, and that's a big deal. Release of new features via PUMS images. So every year we do a PUMS project that allows us to review the images that we would like to implement. We do not implement the latest image usually, just allowing a little bit of time from the point of release, so the bugs can be fixed, and then we'll go for that. Um, so it allows organization to standardize grants processes across regions where possible. So as I mentioned earlier, Kaiser Permanente has 8 regions, and we do have 12 grants business units across. So standardization is very important to us. And even though we do find that the portfolio varies through the markets, some may have more federal funding, while others have clinical trials focus, and another region may have a very balanced portfolio. There are slightly different needs for all of those. And even in setup, the way we set up grants in some regions, also the one of these points covers the difference between the states and state requirements. And so we have states that require extra taxation to be included. And so we definitely find that the system allows us that flexibility of configuration, so we can comply internally and externally. Okay. Yeah, I think that was the next point. Ability to customize when configuration doesn't allow to address a requirement. Do we have customizations? Yes, we do. We have quite a bit, but we're also a very large organization with a lot of different needs between the states, between the organizations within organizations. So we do customize. Delivered interfaces and Excel to CI to easy to allow easy data load. Yes, so definitely lots of interfaces and Excel to CI. So we've in the last 2 years we've adopted quite a few. The latest being uploading deposits into AR because those who deal with federal LOC deposits, those are quite a bit, and they come all in one time. And so we find that Excel to CI simplify our lives in that way. Various reporting options and tools that, custom reports, delivered reports, queries, and so on, that is available. Ability to easily extract letter of credit billing for drawdown. Yes, at one point we had to make that a priority because, um, our users came to us asking for a simple way of extracting that data. Ability to tailor invoice formats. Well, in the grants world, every sponsor wants their own invoice format. So last year we had to revamp our invoice formats. We ended up, I think, with 5 from the top of my head. So of course the fixed fee, the as incurred. We also created as incurred with detailed labor report. That one is, more and more sponsors are asking for that. We also created a PCORI invoice. That one was kind of new to us, but that happened and it's been actively used. So yeah, so ability to have those invoice formats and revisit them every couple of years or so is very important as the requirements from sponsors change. Ability to tailor system billing for various types of billing. So yes, as I mentioned, not only that we do as incurred, fixed fee, and milestone, we also a prepaid is pretty common for us, as well as ICB and ISB. So those are internals to Kaiser. Um, that allows the flexibility and systematic approach versus, kind of doing things half Excel to half on Excel, half manually, half systematically. So that went live a couple of years ago, and our users have been very happy with it. Robust F&A process, including waived F&A and retroactive F&A corrections. So we are tracking waived F&A just to understand the loss opportunity. We also have been actively using retroactive F&A corrections process. At some point, we ran into some issues with it a couple of years ago. So now instead of users, the production support team runs it upon request. But that was the only issue we ran into. Various controls and approvals for project transactions. So of course, commitment control, project activity statuses are being utilized. Combo edit, we rely on combo edit rules heavily. Of course, they vary from market to market. Workflows, we do utilize approval workflows, including the billing workflow for the ISB billing that we do. Work centers. We recently had a project to revamp our work centers. In fact, we created a new one that tracks the exceptions, the setup exceptions of various sorts, and that really helps the users to catch the issues early on because, in PeopleSoft, once the setup is incorrect and the data started flowing, it's really hard to correct, various integration points. So yeah, so the work centers are a really good tool for us to utilize. Next slide, please. All right, here we'd like to share with you what we learned from the images that we just implemented. So our pumps, next slide, please. Our pumps project every year starts in April and goes live mid of September. And so as I mentioned earlier, we started with our latest image was image 43. The tool upgrade we did earlier in the year, I think in February. So we already had tools lined up for us, people tools upgrade lined up for us. And then we went from image 44 to 49 because 50 was the latest. We decided not to apply image 50. And so our objectives are to stay current. And of course, we utilize automated testing, and our users just validate the automated testing results, and they do get to UAT the new features just as part of the training, as part of getting to understand better the feature. So please go ahead. All right. So one of the features that we implemented was description for proposal attributes. Basically, what they did, they expanded the description from 30 characters to 100. Go ahead. View attachments quantity. So here on the award profile, in the lower right corner where it says maintain attachments, you can see the number of attachments now attached to any given award. Next slide, please. Project and activity user fields. So in the past, we had the customization with custom field labels. This particular feature allowed us to strip the customization, retire the customization, and utilize the configurable user field labels. Next, please. Import spreadsheets by bill source. So so we do not bill by bill source. We do not use that feature, but it kind of, it's on the run control now. So, so I just want to show you that it's there, but Kaiser Permanente does not utilize bill source. Next, please. Establish from email address. Yes. So this is something that we actually ported, I think last year in one of our projects because we needed that feature for emailing our invoices out. So we ported the code from image 45, and then it came in this POMS upgrade. So we're just meshing it. Go ahead. This is kind of a new report, if you will. It's an online log of all finalization errors. I couldn't stage one, but I want to show you a picture of what it looks like. Next. View invoice approval chain and comments. So for those who are not billers and have billing inquiry role, which we have for our users quite a bit. So this particular page allows them to navigate to the billing inquiry page that is called Review Billing Information Detail and click on the approval link. It's towards the right bottom. And so once they click it, they can see where the approval is stopped or has gone to. So it's just an informational page. We also use the same in the query. So, but we thought it was nice to roll it out to our users. Next. Multiple attachments and attachment limit in billing. So the same they did for AR. And actually it allows you, I guess what the screenshot intended to show is that while making attachments on billing pages or AR pages, you are allowed to select up to what the limit is set by your organization. So in KP, we set it to 10. So I selected 4 files and I am able to attach them all at the same time instead of going back and forth. Okay.
I'm trying forward. There we go. We have, I think, about 2 minutes left.
Oh my. Do you have anything important that you'd like to say at the end, Jessica?
I didn't see any questions. I think we can keep going as of right now.
Okay. Then, sounds good. So another feature on AR AR update process is that now there's a checkbox called Post All Business Units. So that overrides everything you've selected before. And once you checkbox this and run. So basically it takes all of your business units that have transactions that are postable and it posts regardless what the process parameters specify. We do not use it at Kaiser, but that's available and we have tested it successfully. Add attachment to an item. So this is something that Jessica has mentioned. In a previous image, you could see the invoice attached to an item. So now you can also attach in the same place, item attachment, you can attach multiple attachments to an open item. Next. Direct journal enhancement. So basically what we use out of this particular feature is copying direct journals. Not all of our markets use direct journals, but some do, and we use it at the month end close. So copying a direct journal from a previous one and making changes is very easy instead of creating one from scratch. So this is something that we found very helpful.
Awesome. That was, you got through your slides, and I think the next one's 50 and 51. Just a couple items here, and then we'll end. Just that they've updated the award milestone notifications to the notification composer. I love that one. Workflow type items get standardized so that when your users are familiar with the functionality, then you can use it across module, which is great. And then in the demo, you saw CFDA. It is now being updated to ALN, Assistant Listing Number. So you'll see that across the board here. So on the award profile, CFDA is now updated to ALN. And if you don't have the ability to choose multiple numbers, it's directly right here on the page. And then, of course, the dashboard was also updated appropriately as well. And then roadmap, I think we'll stop because Joe's going to be covering those tomorrow. Some exciting things around grants. Oh, yeah. So here's the time to take note. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, to learn about grants, especially the Grants Award Portal Insight. Super excited about that. And I did steal a screenshot from yesterday. So hope you guys have a chance to attend that. And just wanted to wrap up by saying thank you again so much for attending the session. And if you do have questions that you'd like to ask, feel free to email either one of us.
Thank you.
Have a great conference, guys.